Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom right corner, we got Earob, friend of the chat and part of a long, illustrious line of German Protosses. See how he does. He's in good company, and if he has any coordination or inspiration from Master Ray, he will be doing fine in this season of Gosuleague. Upper left-hand corner, we got Worst starting as the red Protoss, so he's improved. Actually, I just went on this big rant about people changing over time, and I feel like all these guys have kind of improved and made it up to Gosu Tier 2. Out of Hasu Tier 1. And this is going to be on Radeon, larger macro map cross positions. It'll be interesting to see if either player bites down and goes for a double gateway play off the bat here. I'm also interested to see how well Protoss fares. Especially, and I'm going to be interested, I guess the better way to put this is we'll see how the Zerg do. Because I feel like the Zerg, the meta is currently favoring the Zerg at the top levels. That doesn't necessarily mean it's favoring them at all levels. But it feels like Zerg has... It feels like Terran is at the bottom of the meta right this second. And we'll see if that changes when Flash makes his way across. But it feels like Zerg, as far as the standard meta, has an advantage in ZVP and also ZVT. And Protoss seems to have an advantage. Like, Terran haven't figured stuff out yet, as far as skilled Terrans at I feel like skilled Terrans at equivalent level, Terrans seem to be they don't have a solution for 3-base Protoss. By the way, both players opening up for Gateway Assimilator. They don't seem to have a solution for 3-gate Protoss going into large amounts of units, finding kind of a middling mid-game advantage where they can expand into different bases and they just swap to carrier on these. And it might just be also what's going on with the maps. The like mid-sized to smaller maps, I do think favor Terran a little bit, particularly in TVZ. Just because the units can get out, and I feel like the larger, more spread out maps like this definitely favor Protoss, PVZ, or PVT. I think it's interesting, when you have a lot of space you can get lost in PVZ, I think it works a little bit better because the early game's outs, but anyway, I digress. That's none of that, this is PvP. Both players going for a mirrored build thus far, absolutely no variation except in scouting pattern. A bit Worst, looks like he's going to end up getting first scout in the bottom right hand corner. Zealot's not going to be in time to blockade the ramp. That's actually going to be a significant advantage. Both players opted for the safety Zealot to start off, and having I guess the timing, if it was a little bit earlier, Worst might have been able to he could still attempt a Manor Pylon. It's just a lot harder to execute when you have that Zealot chasing. Another reason to build it, but if he micros his unit well here, he is going to be able to deny the scouting information. I will say Earob, I'm excited to cast it. He's been in my channel here and there, and he's also involved. Looks like the probe able to sneak through Worst's line, by the way, and get the scout. Probe idle here, actually. Range being upgraded on both ends, slightly faster from Earob. Earob's been around and has just been a fantastic cheery chatter in a lot of different spaces in BSL channels and other tournament channels. I think people underestimate how communities thrive based on actually just quality chatters. Quality chatters make a huge difference. Hint out, this is me slyly saying that my chatters are great as a side note. By the way, no movement towards Citadel of Adun, but we do have Earob sneaking Citadel of Adun on his corner of the map. It looks like things scooting across. The probe escapes. The Zealot didn't join. And Worst, despite having a Zealot advantage, is going to break off, but we have the probe sneaking its way back around. The Dragoons in Midland, and this, that was a weird way to say that. The Dragoon, they're pretty well spread out. These guys need to back up here if this is going to be successful. Probe continuing to harass. Earob sending another probe out at kind of an odd position. Maybe he was thinking about going for a proxy. On top of this, it looks like it's going to turn into Citadel of Adun DT Gateway. Range was canceled. Range about to finish here from Worst, at which point he's going to do much better against these Dragoons. And on the turnaround, looks like he's going to head and drop a Nexus. One gate Nexus, bold play, by the way, and this could definitely blow up in his face. He's going to have time to work with here. And I'm not sure if Worst, this is another critical thing. He didn't get a lot of eyes on that. I didn't get a lot of eyes on that. I'm not sure if he recognized that those Dragoons did not have range. He's tacked on, oh my goodness, this is going to be game ending now. First DT away, first DT's constructing. Forge also building. There's a world where Worst at cross position is able to overwhelm this or block his ramp and somehow recover. But right this second, it looks like Worst he went for an economic risk in dropping a faster Nexus off just a single gate. Earob, I believe, he snuck out a Dragoon, which I think slowed down that Dark Templar. Don't quote me on that, by the way. But this first Dark Templar is going to make its way across the map, and there's absolutely nothing. Worst completely disrespecting a potential DT, and I bet you, knowing Worst, he's absolutely going to have words. High Templar being built in the midst of this, but interesting, Earob is going to get a lot of damage. He might not be able to end the game now with the DT, just opting for one. He was going for DT into basically get a little map control to work with. And Worst isn't going to see this until the DT's effectively right on top of him. Earob, even on workers, down on supply. That should flip fairly significantly. Does Worst even see it? No. Earob I think he should ignore the natural and go straight to the main, because this gives Worst an opportunity to do precisely this, which is oh, he's just going to GG right here. Never mind. I was waiting to see if he pulled the probes back, clogged here, and then tried to play it out. He did have the robotics about 1/3 finish, and this is a lot of Dragoons that would have gotten chewed through. And he still would have been at a huge disadvantage, but maybe potentially a fightable position. But Worst GGing. We'll see if we get comments at the beginning of the next match. It's got to be frustrating, but Earob with the fast early win. I guess Worst really you got to blame yourself though in that situation, especially in a tournament situation. Kind of goes, I guess, where do I want to put this? I like the risk on Worst's part. I do think in Gosuleague you got to be careful, because people will do things like this, like Earob did, where they're just gonna. I've heard the term. I think it was Ozadaki who was saying that skill check. They'll skill check you in an earlier cast today. I like that term, and I feel like the DT into expand build is a bit of a skill check build. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Move on to game 2. Thanks for listening.